7, Unit 4, Lesson 4, Part 2, the percent equation notes. The percent equation. Because percent represents a standardization of proportions with the proportion part of the whole is percent number over 100, percents can be represented as a direct variation y equals kx, when the percent is the constant proportionality and the part and the whole are y and x respectively. So you can represent A as P percent of W with the equation A equals PW. Let me explain more what this is, the y equals kx. That we learned back in Unit 3, the direct variation equation. The constant of proportionality is my percent. It needs to be written in decimal form. And the x would be my whole amount, and the y would be the part amount. Because the way the part relates to the whole is by a percentage. And percents are just a standardization of talking about parts of other numbers. So let's go through this. It is the equation, part equals percent times whole. All right, so what percent of 9 is 22.5? Percent we don't know, so we know the part is 22.5. The whole is 9. So I'm going to use P for percent. That'll remind me I have to move the decimal when I'm done. I'm going to divide both sides by 9. And that gives me P equals 22.5 divided by 9. That is 2.5. Move the decimal a couple of times. That's 250%. So what percent of 9 is 22.5? 250% of 9 is 22.5. Okay, next. 72 is what percent of 48? 72 is what percent of 48? This would be the setup. The 72 is the part, and it's of 48. 48's the whole. Now solving this, I just need to divide by 48. And P equals 72 divided by 48, which is 1.5. Now because it is a percent, it needs to have the decimal moved, and you get 150%. Okay, 27 is 25% of what number? On this, keep in mind that it is part equals percent times whole. Okay, so the part is 27. It's 25%. Remember to move the decimal twice. Of the whole number, we don't know what the whole number is, so I'll use a W. Divide both sides by 0.25. And the whole is 27 divided by 0.25. And that is 108. So 27 is 25% of 108. Okay, 65 is 150% of what number? 65 is 250% would be 2.50 when we move the decimal. Of what number? Then we can solve it. Divide both sides by 2.5. And this will give us the whole number is 65 divided by 2.5, which is 26. Which means 65 is 250% of 26. Okay, remember that it is part equals percent times whole. What number is 3% of 400? 400 is going to be the whole. Our part we don't know, so maybe we use an x equals 0.003. When you move the decimal twice, oops, that's in the wrong direction. You move it twice in this direction, you get 0.003 times 400. Now on this one, x is already by itself. We just type this in the calculator. 0.003 times 400, and we get 1.2. So 1.2 is 0.3% of 400. Next, 90% of 90 is what number? Okay, 90% of course is the percent. Remember, move the decimal twice, so it's going to be 0.9. 90 is the whole, the part we don't know. Okay, so the part is 90% of 90. We can take 90% times 90 and we get 81. So that means 90% of 90 is 81. Okay, remember that the part equals the percent times the whole. Janelle is a realtor who earns 2.5% commission on home sales. She sells 5 homes totaling $730,000 in the month of July. What is her commission for July? All right, so we've got 3 things here. We need to figure out part, whole, and percent. Well, the percent is 2.5%, which we of course need to change to 0.025, moving the decimal twice. The whole is, we need 2.5% of the sales. We know that is 730,000, and we need to find the part. So the part is 0.025 times the whole, 730,000. If we take 0.025 and multiply it by 730,000, we get 18,250. So Janelle's commission for the month of July is 18,250. That's a very good commission. All right, example 439. Janelle earns $3,180 in the month of December in commission, which is 2.5% of home sales. She sold only 1 house. What was the price of the home she sold in December? So in July, by the way, she got a lot of money that month, over 18,000. December was a lot lower with 3,000. So the part here is the money she made. The percent is the same 2.5%, which of course as a decimal is 0.025, and the whole, we don't know. So $3,180 is 0.025% of whatever the price of the house was. We can divide by 0.025 on both sides to get the price of the 1 house that she sold. So 3,180 divided by 0.025, she sold a house worth 127,200 that month. All right, in the practice, number 1, you're just doing a bunch of percent equation examples using the percent equation, which is written right here. Number 2, looks like you've got some situation problems dealing with the percent equation. Number 3, you're going to change each decimal to a percent. Move the decimal twice, throw a percent sign on it. Number 4, you're going to find the mean of 5 test scores that Lillian earned in her history class. Number 5, you've got a survey and the information is put in a circle graph. You have to determine how many students participated and how many chose football. It did actually, 18 students chose other sports. So we know the number of this is 18. Find the percent and then you can use the percent to calculate how many students total. Number 6, you're going to simplify and answer as a decimal. Number 8 is a logic problem. Just read and think your way through it. Number 8 is talking about a couple of different tanks, tank A and tank B. You're to make some comparisons here, and it's going to take a bit of work on that. I recommend drawing some pictures and maybe making some information available here. For example, tank A holds 550 gallons and it is 66% full, you can actually figure out how many gallons are in it and just work through the problem like that.